Hello everyone, welcome to the video on Principles of Spectroscopy. In this video, I am going to explain about dual nature of light, what do you mean by photon and quanta, what are line spectra and band spectra. This is my YouTube channel wherein you find videos related to GPAT, NIPER and pharmacy subjects. These are my channel credentials. If you like the video content, do subscribe. Let's get into the topic. Now, the light has got something called as dual nature. Dual means it has got two different kinds of properties. What are they? It has got particle nature as well as it has got wave nature. Particles, yes, it behaves like particle nature. Simultaneously, it has got wave nature too. Now, how can we say this? The evidence is there are certain properties which are obeyed by all the waves like diffraction, interference, polarization, refraction, reflection. All these properties are exhibited by light. So it proves that light has got wave properties, but at the same time it also shows photoelectric effect and spectrometry, both of them related to particle nature. So light is showing both the particle nature as well as wave nature. That is the reason why it is known as it has got dual nature. Now see, all the wave properties of light are, it can show this reflection. So it reflects like a wave. Refraction, a bent is shown. Interference, it could be constructive or destructive. Like similar waves, when they overlap, the intensity increases or decreases. And a property known as diffraction. Diffraction means when the waves are passing through a small slit, they comes up like this. And this is a typical property of waves. So all these properties are exhibited by light, hence they are known as wave properties of light. Whereas the particle nature is proved by an experiment called as photoelectric effect. This is done in 1905 by Albert Einstein. Now we need to understand what you mean by photoelectric effect is. Now photo is derived by photons. Now photons are quanta of light energy. Now quanta is nothing but a particular quantity. So light, which is the electromagnetic light, has got certain amount of energy. It is given by E equal to h nu. Now this energy containing a particular quantity is what is known as photon. Now when you say photoelectric effect, when a particular energy containing photon strikes a metal, an electron is ejected from that metal. Because electron is coming out with the help of a photon, it is known as photoelectric effect. Let us see a little bit detail and then come back to the experiment. See, the photons are also known as, the energy is quantized. That means a particular quantity of energy is there with radiation. That means every quanta is in a particular form. H nu is energy given by that particular photon. You have 1 h nu, 2 h nu and 3 h nu. These energies are allowed, but you don't have this kind. Half, 2/3 fractions are not allowed. This is called the energy can be absorbed or emitted only in multiples of quantum. And that quantum is this one. Take for the example, you know, the invisible spectrum, the deep red light has got wavelength of 700 nanometers. So when you calculate, it will have energy of 1.75 electron volt. The violet one has got 3.1 electron volt. You can see this, the wavelength is inversely proportional to energy, or energy is directly proportional to frequency. So this particular energy is what is called as quanta. To put with an example, look at this. Think of each quantum of energy as a separate step in this staircase. That means this is a particular quantity of energy. To walk this staircase, you take one step and one step. You don't move half steps. You go from here to here, from here to here. When an object increases in energy, it increases one quantum of time. So this is known as one quanta. So this is how the photon energy will be there. Now let us look at the experiment now. Now see, potassium, see, when radiation comes and hits this potassium metal, when sufficient energy is there, an electron can be ejected out, ionization. And to get that, it needs 2 electron volts of energy. Now imagine a 700 nanometer wave which has got 1.77 electron volt of energy is hitting this metal, no electron comes out. Whereas the one with 550 nanometers which has got sufficient energy, in fact more than, see it needs 2 electron volt, it has got 2.25 electron volts of energy. So what happens, the electron comes out, the excess energy will give a kinetic velocity. So the electron will come out, the excess energy will be giving its kinetic velocity and it will be moving with that speed. Now imagine you use even higher energy, 3.1 electron volts. What happens, the electron comes out, it moves with a lot more higher speed. The excess speed is because of excess energy. Now what is this experiment talks about? See, if light has got wave properties, all the wave must be absorbed by this metal. No, it is not happening. It absorbs only whatever the photon is required to eject that electron. That means this particular wave is coming with a particular amount of photons. When the photons hit this metal, electron will comes out. Now this proves the light has got particle nature. And each and every particle is also known as a photon which has got a particular quantity of energy. So this one proves the particle nature of light. Moving to the next one. Let us see what happens when electromagnetic radiation interact with matter. Excuse me. Why at all the matter has to interact with electromagnetic radiation? Look at this example. When you heat water, what happens? Water boils up. What is happening? The thermal energy is increasing the kinetic energy of water, and that is what is giving heat. The molecular movement is increases and it is releasing heat. So energy is absorbed by these molecules. Now look at this electromagnetic radiation. Electromagnetic radiation comes with a particular energy is equal to h nu. So this energy, when it is given to matter, matter will absorb that energy and there occur certain changes. That is the reason why the radiation is being absorbed. Look at this, what is happening? The heat is being absorbed by water and there occur certain changes. The change is increasing temperature. The same thing when electromagnetic radiation impinges on this matter, the matter takes up that energy. Now when you look at to the energy of a molecule according to Born-Oppenheimer approximation, every molecule has got certain amounts of energy like translational, rotational, vibrational and electronics energy. So molecule total energy will be equal to all these amounts of energy. Let us see one by one. The moment you say translational motion or translational energy means by using this energy the molecule will move here and there. This is what is called as translational motion. The normal room temperature, we have certain amount of temperature is there and that temperature is enough to cause translational motion. The other one, rotational. Imagine this is a molecule. When you provide certain amount of energy, it rotates. That is called as rotational motion. So when you provide certain amount of radiation or energy, the rotations will change. The other one, vibrations. Now vibrations, look at this. This is a molecule. You have 3 atoms are connected. When you provide certain amount of energy, stretching or bending occurs. Stretching or bending occurs, and this is called vibrational motion. Finally, electrons can move from bonding orbital to anti-bonding orbital, and that is called as electronic energy. So this is what is meant by the total energy. Translational, rotational, vibrational, electronic. Translational will occur in room temperatures. You don't need further energy to cause this one. So it is dropped. So this is what is the total energy is. Now in general, electronic energy needs higher amount of energy. It needs higher energy. Whereas vibrational is less than electronic energy. Whereas rotational is even less than vibrational energy. Let us see why it is and what happens with all these things. Now look at this. This is an important one. So when you leave the translational one, you are left over with rotational, vibrational and electronic transitions. Now rotational transition occurs at microwave and far infrared radiation. That means when this radiation is provided, the energy will cause rotations in the molecules. You know, microwaves, there is an instrument called microwave. With use of microwaves, we heat up our food. How do they act? In that microwave, the microwaves are there which will falls on a food. Let's say you put a food inside this microwave, the microwave radiation falls onto that and it increases rotations of especially dipole molecule like water. When rotation is increased, what happens? It increases temperature and that's how food will get heated up. So the principle is based on these microwaves, hence it is known as a microwave. So what happens? By using this energy, rotations are increased. Whereas by using infrared or near infrared, vibrations of a molecules are increased. See, the vibrations will occur. So the energy provided by this infrared radiation is enough to cause vibrations. Look at this. See, this is a kind of spectra. When you're moving from left to right, wavelength is increased but energy is decreased. So low energy is enough to cause microwave or rotations, whereas a little bit higher energy is required, like infrared, to cause vibrations one. Whereas you need ultraviolet or visible radiation to cause electronic transitions. Electron moves from bonding to anti-bonding orbital. This is what is given here. So what it says, to cause electronic transitions, you need radiation like UV and visible. Whereas for vibrations, you need infrared. For rotational, you need microwave. So UV visible radiation has got higher energy than IR than microwave. And it all occurs because of these changes. You can see from the outside, to cause rotation of a whole molecule, you need lesser energy, microwave. But inside the molecule, if you want to change this bond lengths, you need infrared radiation, a little bit more energy. Getting deeper inside, in order to move this electron to another orbital, you need higher energies like UV and visible. So these are all the important principles you need to understand. Moving further, let us see one by one. Now let us see, when a radiation falls onto a molecule, there occurs a lot of changes. What are they? Electronic transitions, vibrational and rotational. Understand this one. So when sufficient energy like UV falls on this molecule, the electron will move from one orbital to another orbital. So this is electronic transition, which you see with UV radiation. In the same, see, in this transition you have multiple levels of vibrations. Vibrations need only IR radiation. Whereas in each and every vibrational status you have many rotational paths are there. So many rotational things are there. So rotational transition occurs. So when you provide UV radiation, so whole lot of transitions will occur, electronic, vibrational and rotational. If you want rotational, only microwave is required, whereas vibrational, IR is required. So this is why the radiation is absorbed by these molecules. So to get these transitions, they will take up that energy, and that is what we figure out in spectroscopy. Let us see individually. See, electronic transition, you can see this wavelength is shorter. Wavelength is shorter means higher in energy. Vibrational, IR, wavelength is little bit longer, energy is little bit less. Rotational, even long waves, that means very lower in energy. And this is how the transition occurs. When you see individually, see, rotational spectroscopy is also known as microwave spectroscopy. Why? Microwaves are the one which are causing rotations. Low energy electromagnetic radiation like microwave or far IR can change rotational levels only, and these are what rotational levels are. So remember the principle, microwave spectra means rotational spectra. See, the molecule as such rotates like this, right? Moving to the next one, vibrational spectroscopy. Vibrational spectroscopy is also known as infrared spectroscopy. Why? Medium energy electromagnetic radiation or near IR can change vibrational levels and rotational sublevels. These are vibrational levels. Look at this. In every vibrational level, you have a lot of rotational transitions will occur. So it causes both of them, rotation as well as vibrations. Moving to the next one, electronic spectroscopy is also known as UV visible. It can change electronic levels along with vibrational, rotational sublevels. So this is electronic transition. Each and every electronic transition has got vibrational as well as rotational. So these are all the basic principles. So look at this. Rotation of a molecule occurs with microwaves, whereas vibration occurs with infrared radiation, whereas electronic transition occurs with UV and visible. So these are all the foundational principles. Now, see, till now we have seen about molecules. Because molecules will have all of them rotational, vibrational and electronic, they will be absorbing all corresponding wavelengths. So the absorption, they will be absorbing a lot of wavelengths. So it appears as a band. Hence all the molecules will show a kind of band spectra. Molecular spectra is nothing but a band spectra. Whereas atoms are not like that. Atoms do not show rotational or vibrational. Why? Vibration and rotation you can see with only with molecules. When you have a molecule connected with another molecule, then only you can see vibration or rotation. If you have only a single atom, you cannot see these two. So what can you see? You can see only electronic transition. Only electronic transition occurs at a particular wavelength. It appears as a single line. So atomic spectra is also known as line spectrum, whereas molecular spectrum is known as band spectrum. Now look at this. Now in that atoms you can see both absorption and emission. Look at this. This is one electronic level and this one is another electronic level. In order to move electron from here to here, you need to provide certain amount of energy. If that specific energy falls on it, the transition takes place. And how the transition takes place? By absorbing this energy, and this is called as absorption. When atom absorbs energy of photon to promote electron to a higher energy orbital. So it absorbs and moves to higher energy orbital. Whereas if an electron is falling from higher energy orbital to lower energy orbital, it releases energy that comes out as a photon, and this is called as emission. This is emission. Look at this. What happens in emission? When atom emits energy as a photon, as electron falls from higher energy orbital to lower energy orbital. So atoms can show only this, and it occurs at a particular wavelength. Hence they will show only a line, and this is what is called as line spectrum. Look at this. These are all known as types of spectra. You spend a light through a spectrum, through a prism. What happens? You see VIBGYOR, and all this light comes out as continuous spectra. So continuous spectrum, radiation over a broad range of wavelength, and this is called as continuous spectrum. Whereas line spectrums are different. You have emission line spectrum, absorption line spectrum. Now emission light spectrum, a particular molecule, look at this. See, this is a continuous spectrum, right? Whereas in emission spectrum, a hot gas, it releases a certain amount of photons. When it is sent through a prism or grating, it disperses the light. When it is passed through it, a certain wavelength is emitted, and that is what is observed in spectrum, and this is called emission spectrum. So it appears as lines. Now in the other case, when the light is passed through cold gas, the cold gas will absorb certain amount of radiations. In a continuous spectrum, this particular wavelength is absorbed, this is absorbed, this is absorbed. So when there is an absorption, you see a dark line. So the energy is absorbed or radiation is absorbed, hence it is known as absorption spectra. So these are all the differences between emission spectra and absorption spectra. This is how it appears. See, emission line, a bright light at specific wavelengths, and all these bright lights indicates emission has occurred. Whereas in case of absorption, a dark light will be there where corresponding to absorption of this particular radiation. So this is about line spectra, continuous spectra, and all of them. Make sure you understand all these principles. Spectroscopy is based on these principles. Thank you for watching this video. If you like the video content, do subscribe.